former Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava, he is leaving Tennessee after holding out, missing practice because he wanted more money. He had originally signed a deal that was supposed to keep him in Tennessee. It was a 4-year, $2.2 million per year contract that paid him that out of high school. And after the Carson Beck signing to Georgia, Beck gets $3 million. Iamaleava said, hey, I want more money. And there was some talk that maybe they would figure some things out. Maybe they would try to give him some more, but at some point he was a no-show. Friday morning, after Iamaleava's father did a post kind of talking about just where his family's at, and he made a post saying the family's happy with Tennessee. There's no contract negotiations. They're happy with the contract they have. Well, Friday morning after that, he didn't show up. And he did not show up to practice, did not show up to spring practice, was just non-existent. And then Iamaleava informed Tennessee he planned to be absent. And the reason was he wanted more money. And then Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel, he walked onto the practice field. No word from Iamaleava. And right there, Heupel decided that the program would be moving on from him. Because for starters, Iamaleava, I think, threw 19 touchdown passes last season, had over 100 yards against Ohio State. My man thinks he's Peyton Manning out there, trying to get a big bag like he's a dude. And look, it's America, right? If you think someone will give you more money, it's your right to try to get that. I understand that. And we'll talk about some teams that he could end up with. But if you sign that contract and you're in the 4th year, it's $2.2 million a year. I mean, you're almost at 10 M's for a mediocre career where you've had the potential for sure. And you've had some big moments, but it's not like you finished top 3 in Heisman voting or anything like that. It's not like you've had these massive wins. I mean, Tennessee, you lose to Bama and Florida, your rivals. I mean, you reach the playoff, but you got absolutely smacked by Ohio State. And the reason why they reached that playoffs is because that defense was elite down in Knoxville. They had a top 5 defense down in Tennessee. So Iamaleava was good, was not great. He was not worth $4 million in my estimation. But this, kind of the bigger picture in this is, look, this is the NCAA's fault. Because there's no guardrails, there's no regulations, and if there's nothing that's put in place to make sure that Iamaleava is more incentivized to honor his contract, and there's whispers from other programs out there that are saying, hey, we'll give you more bread over here. Why wouldn't he do that? Right? I mean, why wouldn't he do that? I mean, you look at his name, Iamaleava. It literally says Iamaleava right in his name. That's how I spell it. He's going to do that. He's going to test the water. So NCAA has been a sham for so many years. They have now made it to where instead of paying them players, they're allowing people and other boosters and programs to pay players at NIL. So that's fine. But I do think that this isn't a well-played move by Iamaleava. Even though I always support players getting their money, now this kind of makes it where do other programs truly exceed that $2.2 million? Because there are some teams out there. that have been rumored to be interested in him. Now, he's from Southern California.
Long Beach.
From Long Beach, the LBC. Mm-hmm. First team is UCLA. And the Bruins, they did sign Appalachian State quarterback Joey Aguilar, and that was a lucrative deal for UCLA, for sure. But honestly, there is real legitimate interest from UCLA's end to Iamaleava. Another team, North Carolina, Bill Belichick. Right now, North Carolina, you got freshman Bryce Baker. You got former Purdue transfer Ryan Brown. There's a lot of reports that they're not looking like quarterbacks that could lead that UNC team. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to North Carolina. Another team that is interested, the Maryland Terrapins. You got teams like, USC is possibly a natural fit, but all in all, it's going to be interesting to see where he lands up, how much money he gets, and just kind of what this precedent means for college football. But J-Rob, when you kind of look at this, and just how this thing has played out, I mean, is this a bad look for Iamaleava, or is it just kind of the state of where things are at now in NIL and college football?
I think Nico will probably be looked at as like the poster board for some of the toxicity in the new landscape. But the reality is this was the monster that the NCAA created. This was something that you could have gotten ahead of a long time ago. And so now that we're at this point, you're going to have to deal with the consequences of that, because Nico has been front cover headline all weekend. However, DMAC, nobody had these opinions when Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma for more money. They bought his homes in Oklahoma, got him on a plane. And, you mentioned Nico hasn't played well enough to live up to the contract. Has Lincoln Riley played well up to his contract in USC? I don't think so. However, you're in a landscape now that if you can get more money somewhere else, it's all incentivized. You got to look at these kids like you look at NFL players. They are mercenaries. And, Nico is going to get a lot of heat. He's still only a redshirt freshman going into his redshirt sophomore year. But DMAC, if Jeremiah Smith said, I want more money from Ohio State, I promise you they would go under every sofa cushion in Columbus to make sure that there was enough money to give Jeremiah Smith. And obviously he was a better player, but the point I'm making is that we are in a climate now where these players understand their value and they're always being recruited. This is the first time in, I think, anything where recruitment is literally, you're being recruited for 4 years. You're going to get recruited in high school, then you're going to get recruited again in college, because if you play well at one school, another school is going to want you. If you play well at the school you're at, you're going to run and renegotiate a contract. So look, I understand no one's bigger than a program, but John Heupel, nobody's bigger than their own wallet. Like if their bottom line is their bottom line. And so they're the only reason Nico feels he can get $4 million is because somebody said they had $4 million for him. So that's where that is. And so, you can blame Nico, but I would blame the NCAA for never getting ahead of this.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that it's one of those things where when he does ultimately sign with the team, if he gets even $1 more than $2.2 million, does he look like he's stupid, or does Tennessee look like it's team, it's this and that? No, I mean, at the end of the day, what we're seeing here is players are getting more leverage because they're the talent, right? I mean, you're the uniform, you're the crowd, you got the T on your helmet, you got the orange, you got the checkerboard. At the end of the day, you need dudes to fill that helmet, fill that uniform, and to help you win games. And as of Monday night, the BetOnline AG odds had UCLA as the early favorite for him. And then behind the Bruins were North Carolina, then USC, Texas Tech, Colorado, Arizona State, Notre Dame, Maryland, Oregon, California, Syracuse. I mean, it's already a lot of teams.
Yeah.
And I mean, it kind of makes you wonder. I think the bigger point for me too is like, if I'm one of these high school quarterbacks, bet on yourself. Don't sign 4-year deals. Have opt-outs. I mean, I think now we're going to start to see more general managers in college football. I think we're going to see more kind of situations where they have the ability to opt out and sign new deals, because that's kind of what happens when other players set the market like Carson Beck did. So we'll see what happens. To be honest with you, if he goes to UCLA, I'd be super excited about that.
I was just about to say, I was looking at your face this whole time because once you said UCLA, I wanted to see if you were going to crack a little smile.
Hey, if he goes to UCLA and be like, this is a player that stood up for players and he did something for players 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line. This is someone that goes to UCLA like an Ed O'Bannon. And I'm totally biased. But I mean,
he looked good in the uniform.
It's 6'6", right?
Yeah, 6'6".
From the volleyball, he's our replaced for Kobe Johnson on basketball too.
He probably could be a professional volleyball player if he wanted to. One of the best in the country at volleyball.
He's a beast. He's a beast. So we got another